Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Mint Door podcast. I'm Dr. Laura Schwint.
And I'm Dr. Karen Tyndall.
We are honored today to bring you a guest, Mary Fisher Day. She is super passionate about dentistry, and she's enjoyed a long career in dentistry and loves making a difference in the lives of dental professionals. Having served the dental industry for more than 35 years, her true passion lies in helping dentists navigate the business side of dentistry, but specifically helping them before, during, and after their practice transition.
Whether buying or selling a dental practice, dentists need to have someone helping them. A personal advisor with a thorough understanding of the business side of dentistry and also having an expertise in the field of practice transitions. Mary came to realize that most dentists are underprepared and underrepresented during the most vulnerable times of their career, the purchase or the sale of a dental practice.
The Dental Business, which is a company that she founded in 2002, helps dental practices grow and thrive through practice management consulting services. She helps dentists navigate their practice transition as their broker or buyer's representative, prepares practice appraisals, advises on the content of employment agreements, assists with emergency exit plans, and the document that every dental practice owner really needs, which is the emergency directive. Additionally, she is the educator and author of The Dental Business, a blueprint for success. And there are 2 editions.
Mary told us that the experience and knowledge that she's gleaned through many years as a practice management consultant and a practice transition broker have given her the tools needed to represent dentists throughout the practice purchase process or a sales process.
I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation with Mary Fisher Day. So without further ado, here we go. We are so honored and excited to host on our podcast today, Mary Fisher Day. Mary, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Good to see you ladies.
Oh, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, definitely. So to get started, we're going to start this off as we do with all of our guests, and we have a this and that rapid fire round of questions for you. All easy, nothing stressful. We don't want you to panic. And we're just going to give these out to you, Mary, and you just tell us the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off. Do you hair dry or air dry your hair?
Both. I have naturally curly hair, so when I let it natural, it's like, but today I blow dried it, so it's a little more professional.
Awesome. All right. How about heels or tennis shoes?
Preference?
Mm-hmm.
Flip-flops.
I love it. I love it.
But tennis shoes, but yeah, for business, I wear heels.
Cool. I wonder if you're going to have a third answer for this one. Yoga pants or jeans?
Oh, yoga pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If I get to choose comfort, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Introvert or extrovert?
Very much an introvert.
Mm-hmm. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer mountains or the ocean?
The ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Is it breakfast or no breakfast for you?
It should be breakfast, but I just dive into work, so no breakfast typically.
Mm-hmm.
Eating in or going out to eat?
Eating in, because with introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can predict the next one. Do you like watching a movie in a movie theater or Netflix at home?
I don't watch many movies, but probably Netflix at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah.
Would you read a book or a Kindle?
Read a book.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Would you eat a burger or a salad?
Oh, Usually a salad if I get to choose between those two. Yeah.
Nice. And then Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday,
Mhm.
because I
Nice.
still have Sunday to go.
Yeah. Very nice. Well,
Good.
that was a good theme. We kind of got a feel of who you are. Thanks for doing that with us. And I will see you at the ocean with your flip-flops any day. That sounds
Okay.
lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I know that you do so much
Mhm.
within your business, the dental business, but
Mhm.
tell us why you became so passionate about helping dentists throughout the practice purchase process and the sales process.
Throughout my years in dentistry, practice management consulting, and then as a transition broker, what I realized is dentists have no one who has their personal back, their personal. I'm a personal transition advisor. I help them with what they want and what's best with them. I don't have a legal agenda as an attorney or a financial agenda as a CPA. I have their agenda, but I have the background to do it all, luckily, but not the legal and the CPA. I didn't mean do it all, but I certainly have connections and understand why they do what they do. But dentists they're underprepared and underrepresented, I would say almost unanimously, when they purchase or sell a practice. They don't have anybody who has their back. Their broker, what do they want? I mean, yes, there are some that are just wonderful and really do care and will forego a commission, will cut their commission to help that doctor out. But, others are like, this is the best offer you're going to get, blah, 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 so anyway.
Mm-hmm. You said something once when we were talking, and I found it so incredibly valuable, but you understand the language.
I do.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about dentistry, like we know our language is dentist, mesial, buccal, distal, all of that. We have our own.
Facial, yeah.
Yeah. But then you get into a transition and there is some language that we're not familiar with.
Right. And that's like, yeah, I would not want anyone to trust me doing a root canal. So, because I've never done one, but and this is what I do, and I'm passionate about it, and I know that it's something I do well. It's just, I'm not saying it came naturally, but over time I have learned, and I'm passionate enough about it to do what it takes to make sure my clients' best interests are at heart. But yes, knowing the language is important. I understand the legal language. I can read a contract as good as anyone. I understand the accounting language, the CPA language. I work with lenders, so I understand what they're going to want, what they're not. I understand what a lease is supposed to look like, what a sales agreement, practice purchase agreement, letter of intent, all of that, due diligence, you name it. So I just understand that. So it's just, I feel like because of that and the heart I have to help them, that's makes me a good fit for this job. And that's the reason I pivoted the dental business in 2019 from practice management consulting itself, and I had just resigned from Shine as a practice transition consultant, a practice broker there, to this personal transition consulting and representing buyers and sellers in a personal way, not as their broker as much, but in a personal way.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say that's one of the things like that Laura and I are both really passionate about in the Mint Door is highlighting to doctors who are doing the day-to-day daily grind that there are people out there that I wouldn't have even known that somebody like you existed when I was in practice. That there is somebody who would help me manage what I'm doing with my practice. And one of the areas of your business which I hadn't even ever thought about until I met you, Mary, was
Aw.
how you assist dentists with their emergency exit plans and an emergency directive for, should the worst happen. So for people that are listening, this may be the first time that they've heard about these things. So can you explain to us a little bit about what they are and why that's so important to have those things in place?
Well, I think you have life insurance, you have a will, so this is for better way of, it's estate planning for your practice, it's a will for your practice. And I don't know another way to say that, but here's the thing, and here's what triggered it in me. 2016, a plane full of dentists leaving Serona World crashed. On that plane were 3 couples. 5 of them were dentists, I believe. Between them, they left 11 children with no parents. And they were so young. They were young. And I just thought, oh my gosh. And it became obvious that some of them did not have an exit plan. So it took a long time to sell their practice. And some practices get picked apart if because there's not, the goodwill goes with the dentist as they die, unless you can manage to keep the team on and keep the patients coming in. So you have to have an emergency exit plan or emergency exit strategy to make that happen. Okay. So I also took what some call a letter of direction, but it's an emergency directive. Okay. Is how the terminology I use. And I put together this document that will encompass everything you need. If something happens to you, you could give it to somebody and they can sell your practice. They don't have to call the office manager who's devastated, the spouse who's devastated, and all that. They don't have to make them go in and find all the documents and everything. It's going to be taken care of that. And you can, if you don't want to sell the practice, you want to bring in an associate, the plans are in there for that, how to do it. Somebody's going to eventually need to buy the practice probably, unless your spouse is a dentist, which, happens as well. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I've seen this happen over and over. I talk with dental spouses a lot. Who have just lost their spouse who is a dentist. It's traumatizing. They're losing their best friend and they know nothing about dentistry and they don't know what to do with the practice. And so I've dealt with quite a lot of that lately. So I'm just trying to be proactive in it. And there are other people who help with emergency exit plans and emergency exit strategies. But I think I'm different in that I have the practice management consulting background. I also have a 17-year clinical background. I don't know if y'all knew that. So I know kind of what happens in a dental practice, and then practice management, and then brokerage. Where I am now, I just want to put what I know to good use. And seeing spouses and families struggle to mourn those who have died, and getting phone calls from team members who are saying, am I going to have a job? What do I do? Do I need to quit? Things like that. And I walk them through that. And it's heartbreaking. So that is why it's so important to just plan ahead. If you don't want to do it for yourself, and I have had several just say, why do I care? I'm dead and I'm leaving a life insurance policy. Your practice still has to be handled in the event of your death. Something has to be done with the patient base and stuff. There's still things that have to be done. Why not just put it in writing how you want it? That way you're still you are in charge of how your practice transitions, whether you're there or not. It is your wishes for your practice in this document and the information needed to make them come true. So
it's like overwhelmingly peace of mind now, if for an in case, if and when scenario in the future. But I think you'll agree with me, Laura, like when we speak to you, Mary, you're so calm and relax, like just calm to listen to, that I couldn't think of a better person to ask for that help from.
Mhm.
Oh, thank y'all. I feel like I'm all over the place because I become so passionate about this topic because to me, it's not a difficult thing to do, but you won't believe the walls I butt up against with people who don't want, don't find the value in it. I understand the walls that I bounce up against with people who don't want to deal with it. That's understandable. I don't have time to deal with it. And, that happens. And, eventually, thing do, but there's so many things that an admin person can get together for you. Your CPA can get together for you. You don't have to do it all yourself, just like when you're selling a practice, you rely on other people to handle document gathering. So anyway, I feel it's a very important thing. I've made it so extremely affordable as far as the emergency directive on my website, and emergency exit planning, that's just a however long you need me, so hourly charge type thing. But I would love to see more people take advantage of it. So there is, as y'all would probably tell people, I guess, a free checklist on my website that gives, so it's free. You can use this. It's not everything that you need, but that would, if you saw that in a checklist, you'd probably run away. But no, I would help. I like to do it in steps so it's not so overwhelming, but this checklist just gives you the basics that if you don't do anything else and you have these things together, you've got a very big head start.
That's nice. We'll make sure and have a link to that resource in our show notes, as well as a link to your website. And I imagine that when you're going through this emergency directive with practices, that it uncovers some things that maybe need attention anyway throughout the process. Would you say?
Yeah, it opens their eyes to things that need attention. I try not to put on my practice management consulting hat. I try not to, I really do. It's just like if you see someone with a tooth that you try, and you're talking to them, you're probably not looking at it and going, I think I can fix that tooth for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah, I try not to do that, but they discover things that we can go in or they can go in and help. And if they ask me questions, I'm not going to not tell them.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine this would be beneficial. Obviously we're talking about a dentist passing, but there's also things that happen physically where they're incapacitated or injured.
Strokes.
And so I think that this as an injury preventative, which can happen to anybody at any moment too, would be a very good checklist, peace of mind knowing that that's in place.
Well, I think that if we could get this message to spouses, it would be so helpful, because I had a situation where a doctor had a stroke a couple of years ago, and he didn't remember so much. He thought he was still the same way. He would go in and try to practice and tell his staff, where's my patients and all this stuff. And he wasn't supposed to be in there doing that, So a spouse, if we'd had that in it, I did end up helping them sell that practice. But by the time we could do it, this man's legacy, he had worked 49 years in dentistry, and he got a little over $200,000 for his practice. And he did big dentistry and braces and stuff. So it was heartbreaking. So yeah, just having it ready, because your spouse is going to have to either deal with you becoming disabled, or your spouse or your children or somebody in your family is going to have to deal with this. So just plan ahead.
Yeah. Oh, very valuable, and it alludes to the fact that, Mary, as a businesswoman, you are so much more than just your business. And so I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about your experience with breast implant illness and why you are now so passionate about sharing your experience and getting the message out to other women.
It took me 3 years to even be able to talk about it with almost anyone other than my husband after having the explant surgery. So in 2012, just really quickly, I felt like I was looking old, and I was still working as transition broker for Henry Schein. And I just felt like there's so much competition out there, the beautiful women and everything. And I'm like, I just want a mommy makeover. So as women may know, a mommy makeover includes a breast lift, and if you needed a tummy tuck, and I just wanted a breast lift, and I didn't want, but he talked me into having implants, and I pushed back and pushed back. But ironically, 2 weeks before my surgery, I was diagnosed with melanoma, and guess who was going to be removing my melanoma? The same guy. So I got tired of fighting with him, and I said, all right, if you're sure. He said, you're not going to like it if I don't. So he put breast implants in, and I thought, okay, fine. He said, they're saline and they're safe. You will not have a problem, because I'm allergic to a lot of things like latex and rubber and all that kind of stuff. I'm allergic to it. So anyway, I didn't put it together for a long time. I just started feeling sicker and sicker and sicker. My husband thought it was stress, and because I was working really hard, long hours, and I missed events that I was there for, but I don't remember them. One of the things breast implant illness does is it removes your memory. It's so crazy the different things it can do. So I went about just feeling sicker and sicker, and there came times where I didn't care if I woke up the next day. I was so sick that I was like, I'm okay. I mean, my daughter's she was out of college by then. Yes, she was out of college by then. She'd been raised, taken care of. She had college degrees. I was like, my husband will be fine. I'm a burden anyway, is how I felt. But I had a consulting girls weekend trip in 2019. I really didn't feel like going, but I went because I loved these ladies. And one of the ladies on the trip mentioned to me that I had opened up a little bit to her about what was going on and just felt so sick. And then she said, I've got a friend on Facebook, and she's on Instagram, and she's going through breast implant illness, and she's getting ready to have her breast implants removed because she's figured out, she said, Mary, her symptoms and yours are very similar. She said, have you thought about that? I said, no, I have not, actually. So that I went home and went to bed, and I got on my phone and started stalking this lady, earbuds in, and started bawling my eyes out. She was describing my life. She was experiencing the same things, and she was in her 30s, and by then I was 54, and I thought, wow, same thing, and so I made it my job to figure out how to get those things out of me. And I figured it out and had the surgery, and I feel so much better. I have not gone to bed one night since then wishing I didn't wake up. That I was so sick I couldn't explain it to anyone. And I mean, I felt like I looked lazy, but I'm an introvert anyway, and I'm an empath anyway. And then you make me sick. and I've got to work. I'm so stinking responsible that I'm not going to let my clients down. My health will go first. And so it did, but so that's what happened. So there's a long list of symptoms for breast implant illness that blew me away. I had no idea about. And they're in a magazine that I wrote the article for, Dental Entrepreneur Woman. But they're everything from memory loss to lymph node swelling, vision blurry, fuzzy head, body aches. I mean, you name it, it takes on all these different things because what happens is it's your body reacting to the silicone. See, my doctor told me, he said, your implants are saline. I thought, okay, well, duh, there's still a casing, right? Guess what? That's silicone. And guess what? Saline implants have a valve that when you have mammograms and stuff, when you're measuring, the valve can pop a little and bacteria gets out and stuff comes in and, you know, all that stuff. And it will make you sick. It'll make you very sick. So when I had my explant, I asked to have my capsules, which is the tissue that forms around the implant to protect your body from them. But it happens to every woman with implants. It's called a capsule. I asked to have that sent off. I wanted a full encapsulectomy. I wanted all of that removed because that's all the forums I read. Every doctor I listened to and what all said, make sure you have the full capsulectomy. So, and the results came back with histocytes in my implants. We know what that is. It means allergy, right? Staph infection. Am I left with? Which is the one that hurts so bad, you know? And I was having a lot, and there were a lot of other things that I listed, but those two stand out most. But those were I was like, no wonder, you know? So I was encouraged to take a picture of my face the night before surgery and then take another one a day or two later. And if you ever look at those pictures, you see a major difference just in my eyes. I look glassy eyed. I look like a walking corpse sometimes, I think, because that's how I felt. But so here's what I'm trying to get at for people. If you know a woman, or if you are a woman or who has an illness that you can't figure out and you happen to have breast implants, or you know a woman who has an illness that just, they're like, they can't figure it out. I mean, I had all the blood tests and everything, and little abnormalities would show up, but they didn't add up to show a picture, you know? So you're going to be just frustrated saying, what is wrong with me? Why can't anybody find this out? Well, you're allergic to something in your body, and your body is overreacting. You know, your immune system is just, and you're getting sicker and sicker. Silicone ends up in your bloodstream. It ends up in your lymph nodes. It is amazing the things they find. And it's incredibly toxic. So that's my story, and I just don't want other women to go through it. It affected my marriage. Thank goodness I have a wonderful husband, but let's talk about these relationships. It affects your marriage. It can't not. You're feeling horrible. And my husband was so patient, but there were so many things we were doing and that I just was absent from. I was there, but I was absent. National championship football, college football game, bucket list, 7-day trip to the British Virgin Islands on a catamaran with 2 other couples and a private stinking chef. Mary was there, but not. And then my 50th birthday trip to Napa, stayed in this beautiful house in St. Helena. Things, if we didn't have pictures and my husband's memory, I would know nothing about these trips. I remember in my memory, I have very few little snap, you know, memories, but thank goodness I have it. So it really did a number on me, on my memory. I remember so little of 2014. Todd says that you remember almost nothing of that year. So yeah, so it will make you sick, and it will, thank goodness my husband understood. And I'm hoping other husbands come around and realize what Todd said to me. Is he said, when I realized what was going on, and he asked me why I was crying because I thought he was asleep. He said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "Will you just watch this for a couple minutes?" So he started watching it, and he looked at me and he said, "You think that's what's wrong with you?" I said, "I feel sure it is." He said, "Let's get them out." He said, "You're more important than your boobs." I was like, "Thank you."
Oh.
So anyway, so having a good husband that's supportive like that, many women do not. I'm on a lot of forums with women who want them out, and their husbands are like, no, you had her when we got married. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's heartbreaking, but
Mhm.
a woman has to choose her health. So
Mhm. Yeah.
thank you for allowing me to talk about this.
Yes.
I hope
Thank
it makes
you.
a difference for
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah, thank you for bringing light to it because, like you talk about the symptoms, and when you do not have a clear picture, I bet there were days that you thought, is this all in my head? You know?
Yes, and I thought I quit going to the doctor about it. I mean, because you're made to feel like a hypochondriac. And a lot of women do. There are women who have killed themselves over this. Women who have killed themselves. One of the reasons is when they do realize what's wrong with them, most health insurance will not pay for an explant.
Oh, wow.
And it's anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000. I know of women who have saved for years to have their breast implants removed because health insurance in the United States will not pay for it unless you have a doctor who believes in breast implant illness and you're having issues with pain. In my case, I had a encapsulation where it had, my muscle had grown into the capsule and that sort of thing. And I was having severe pain, and they could prove that. So I knew enough by the time I went to the doctor to say, I'm in pain. So this is one tip I would love to give to everyone. If you have implants and you want them out, when you go to that doctor, you tell them you're in pain. They need to document that immediately. Otherwise, your insurance will not pay for it. If you just say, they're making me sick, I want them out. And there are some breast explant doctors who will not take insurance anyway. They only take cash.
Right.
But I know some other people who have had what I've had and who have done what I've done, and they feel like they have their life back. And I can tell you, I feel like I have mine back. And that's another reason I'm so passionate about helping people while I can, because I really didn't think I would live to see the age I am right now. So.
Oh, well, we are happy that you are on the other side of this, and we appreciate you sharing so vulnerably your journey so that others can learn from you. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, I would like to say one more thing. I know you've got it, but the shame that you feel because it's self-inflicted, you brought it on yourself and your spouse. I have finally quit beating myself up for the most part about that. You got to forgive yourself because the emotional part is, and my husband's okay with it now. My mama still doesn't know, by the way. I've still never told her I even had implants, let alone had them removed. But my siblings have found out slowly, because there's magazine articles now. But so no, the shame is a horrible thing because it's self-inflicted. Again, don't feel that way.
Yeah. Awesome message. Yeah. And we will include the link to the article that you wrote for Do. And also you were on the Just Do It podcast with Ann Duffy talking about this too. So we'll make sure those links are below so that anyone can get those resources.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
In 3 words, what are 3 things that you feel now? Like 3 words that describe how you feel after having that done. That would leave it on a positive, like, this is why it was worth it. 3 words.
Alive, useful, and grateful.
Okay. So if anybody is like doubting, is it worth it? Should they do it? Those 3 words in itself are a beautiful testament to how it changed your life. So thank you for that, Mary.
You're welcome.
Now, we have a few questions that we ask everybody when they come on our Mint Door podcast. And when we were creating the Mint Door, we had to think very carefully about what the color of our door was going to be. So if you were going to have a door that you could paint any color, what color would your door be?
Orange.
Mm.
I love mint. You can tell I love blues, but I love
Yeah.
orange too. It's my happy color.
Yeah.
Navy blue. I love dark blue and navy blue too. That would be my second choice.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's cool. Orange is a really happy color.
I love orange too.
I love it. My parents painted their kitchen. It's white, but then they went for some few bright orange things in it. And everybody was like, when they were making it, were like, what's it going to look like? But I have to say, it is a super happy kitchen because of the
Aw.
orange.
Mhm.
Yeah, I replaced my orange flowers. I've got lime lights, these hydrangeas that
Mhm.
I cut yesterday. So I put them in here, but I had orange flowers and I have orange stuff everywhere. So
Oh, I love orange. Very nice. Well, in a addition to orange being a happy color, aside from maybe your experience with breast implants, what is one thing that happened in your life that you didn't expect, and what did you learn from it?
there's been a lot there. The one thing, the divorce from my daughter's daddy,
Mm.
hardest thing I went through. He fought me for custody for 5 years. And I've known him since I was 15 years old. I thought I knew him. I trusted him with everything in my body. I learned to not trust so easily and I learned people aren't always who they say they are.
Mhm.
When people show you who they are, believe them.
Mm.
Maya Angelou said that.
Mhm.
And it is so true.
Mm.
So I let him show me that a couple of times. And I married him anyway, because I thought he was growing up, because we were growing up. So anyway, I know you did not expect that, did you?
No, that's a very good answer. And
It was the first thing that came to my mind.
Mm.
mhm. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That quote is so good.
It's a good quote.
Like it just
When
makes
people
you
show you who they are, believe them.
just makes you think, doesn't it? Because otherwise you're putting your filter on what you're seeing rather than what's right in front of you. So
Yeah.
right. Thank you for that. Now, so often as high achievers, we get so busy in achieving our goals and continuing on the path that we're meant to be on that we can forget about the little things that bring joy to our lives. What is one of your favorite memories that means joy to you?
This guy right here is big joy to me. Buddy, come here.
Oh,
Buddy, come here, baby. Come here. He's a white German Shepherd rescue.
oh,
Buddy.
oh. Hi,
Have you ever
buddy.
seen a white German Shepherd? My dogs bring me so much happiness. And this is my big guy. He is just a love cuddle bug, but he's all German Shepherd, all drama all the time. And we have a Chihuahua.
We have a big dog and a little.
Yeah, who's the size of his head. Yet she bosses him around. But anyway, dogs, I think dogs are really great memories for I love animals in general, but I love dogs. And I think that's, I don't know, him crawling up and giving me kisses. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, that's what makes me happy. Spending the day on the beach with my sister with our toes in the ocean.
Mm.
We're in those chairs that are low to the ground, that are, and we have our umbrellas clipped on them, and we have our beverage, and we just sit there and have the deepest talks for days. We've done that before. That's a really great memory.
Mm. They're both really special.
Yeah, I think we both agree with you, dogs and sisters.
Yes.
We'll go with both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs, sisters, and girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. I've got
Mm.
a girlfriend who cracks me up constantly, and we laugh the whole time we're on the phone. So I know the importance of that too.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, we would just like to thank you so much for being on the podcast today and sharing your important personal story to increase awareness of breast implant illness, but also your passions in dentistry and how you help dentists, how you're their friend, how you can help them through a transition, how you can help them plan for the future. These are things that, as Karen said, I think a lot of dentists don't know people like you exist. And so thank you for what you do to help our profession. And you can find out more about Mary at her website, thedentalbusiness.com. And that is where she has her free checklist for the emergency directive. So if that's something you want to get started with, go ahead and then give her a call and she'll help you with the rest. And we'll also put the links to your articles in the Do magazine and your podcast on the Just Do It podcast.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
so
y'all.
much for being a bright light in the world and being such a wonderful, joyful person.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
All right, everybody. That wraps another Mint Door podcast. So we will see you on the next episode. In the meantime, cheers.